Glimpses of Nauraspur is an attempt to recreate and understand the Adil Shahi court culture that eventually manifested itself in the idea of Nauras, a composite term emerging from a complex milieu of the 16th and 17th centuries of Deccan India. To understand Nauras could potentially lead us down to the path of revisiting our own freedom of speech and the exploration of the imagination and the creative in the present day. It is also an interpretation of our culture, which has such great depth, yet gets reduced to binaries in an instant. Even though Nauras is too idealistic perhaps as a concept, its creation resonated within Bijapuri arts for almost 100 years before merging with the Mughal art forms and eventually relocating itself in other structures of power. But in the present day context, with the onslaught of late capitalism and the arrival of the gig economy, it might be almost impossible to recover the ideal as it was known in the 17th century. Could Nauras then be a way to look at every facet of the arts and not just look at an art form in isolation while studying it? Can we relocate Nauras in the 21st century by imagining newer and more inclusive structures in our own context? Why Bijapur? There are several reasons and factors that bring us here today. One of them being that in 1850s, when the British colonial government began a campaign to document and photograph the monuments of India, they focused on Bijapur first. Even prior to that, by the early 1820s, we know British commentators translated the history of the rise of Mohammedan power in India, or Tariq-e-Firishta. They conducted multiple photographic studies of the monuments of Bijapur, and even two novels about Adil Shahi court life, Tara and Noble Queen, were penned during these years. The British continued their fondness for the monuments of Bijapur by basing a lot of their own dome construction method on the style developed by the Adil Shahis, a method by which the lateral thrust was offset by weight added to the pendentives. It became a model for dome design in what would be known as the Anglo-Indian architecture. The architecture continued to enamor the British, who between 1889 and 1916 completed the most in-depth historical survey of the Bijapuri monuments, studying the various buildings, modes of ornamentation, engineering methods, and a stylistic evolution of its architecture. But beyond that, what the British did was to focus more on the decadent descriptions of Bijapur and Adil Shahi life, something that continues even till this day with the works of certain contemporary historians. And this is fed into larger narratives of having them appear as being incompetent and indulgent sultans, only interested in the wealth of their kingdom. Nauras can also help us better understand our own constructions of binaries, such as North Indian classical and Carnatic music. It can perhaps help us in understanding the Deccan in the early modern period, where only more binaries such as Hindu, Muslim, Shia, Sunni began to unfold. Finally, it may also point us to what creativity means, to pursue an ideal in everything around us. We shouldn't forget that the early modern era, just like our own times, is forged in the fires of violence. Also, nearly all rulers at the period all around the world are also looking to further their own gain and wealth. And in this context, Ibrahim II is no different from the other ruling monarchs in his era. But what differs is his commitment to the beauty within life. This contradiction is almost impossible to resolve, but one needs to be able to understand it as a focal point in human life. In many ways, the kingdoms that came before the Adil Shahi Sultanate, namely the Bahmani and Vijayanagar states, are similar in several aspects, especially in their artistic and linguistic cultures, but also in the greater movement of peoples, goods, and ideas that was characteristic of the early modern era, was to shape these new states in important ways. For the sake of brevity, only Bijapur will be our focus. Yusuf Adil Khan was the governor of Bijapur under Muhammad Gavan and asserted his autonomy in the final years of the 15th century. By the time of Yusuf's death in 1510, he had already constructed a sophisticated hydraulic system at Bijapur. The following rulers, Ismail, Ibrahim I, Ali I, during their time, the state religion altered its course between Shiism and Sunnism. In early years of history, most of the understanding of Adil Shahi rule was primarily based on their binary choice of Islam, their adoration of Persia, and their dependence on the Dakhanis and Maratha clans for local muscle. But recent scholarship thankfully has gone past such simplistic understandings of the Adil Shahi dynasty, and perhaps today we can attempt to look at their work with renewed focus and energy.
प्रथमच मला सांगितलं पाहिजे की हे सगळे क्लासिकल शैलीमध्ये, म्हणजे ख्याल शैली, त्याच्यात एक ध्रुपद पण आहे, एक ठुमरी पण आहे, 2-3 ठुमऱ्या आहेत. तर अशा सगळ्या शैलींच्या मध्ये मी ह्या बंदिशी बांधलेल्या आहेत. पण आज आपल्या वेळाचा जो काय आपल्या डोक्यावर दबाव आहे, त्यामुळे मी प्रत्येक बंदिश फार काळ गाऊ शकणार नाही. पण मी फक्त आपल्याला विनंती करेन की त्यातली अभिजात संगीताची जी ताकद आहे, ती ताकद आपण लक्षात घ्यावी. आणि हेच म्हणजे मी असा विचार केला की मला कुठे असंच अभिजात ग्वाल्हेर गायकीचा जो प्रोग्राम असेल तर मी छनन छनन छन हा एक बडा ख्याल म्हणून गाईन. अशा प्रकारची ताकद ह्या बंदिशींच्या मध्ये आहे. विशेषतः एक लोकायतच्या अतिशय उत्साही आणि अतिशय चांगल्या तऱ्हेने वागणाऱ्या, विनम्रपणे आणि काळजीपूर्वक वागणाऱ्या अशा सगळ्या ह्या मंडळींना एक मला मनापासून सांगावंसं वाटतं की जितकं लढाया ह्या आर्थिक बाबतीत किंवा इतर अन्यायांच्या बाबतीत महत्त्वाच्या असतात, तितकंच आपल्या मनाची काही एक मशागत करणं आणि ती कलांचे मूळबंध जाणून ती करणं हे पण महत्त्वाचं असतं. आपण एक भारतीयतेची कल्पना शोधतो आहोत, एक पर्यायी संस्कृतीचा विचार करतो आहोत आणि तो करत असताना आपल्या संस्कृतीचा अर्थ लावायचा आपला प्रयत्न चालला. कॉम्रेड पानसर यांचा हाच प्रयत्न होता. हे त्यांना एकदा दोनदा भेट झाली तेव्हा माझ्या लक्षात आलं की हे गायन समजू शकतात. त्यांना काही फक्त क्रांतिगीतं हवी असं नाही. इतर कम्युनिस्ट पार्टीमधले इतर अनेक कॉम्रेड्स मी असे पाहिले की ज्यांना अभिजात पारंपरिक भाषा आणि नवीन आशय ह्याची जोडी जमवणं हा प्रयोग अतिशय आवडलेला आहे. कारण कुठलीही भाषा पारंपरिक असत नाही, ते घडवणारी नाती पारंपरिक असतात. ती नाती जर तुम्ही नव्या ताज्या दमाने पाहिली आणि तशी घडवली तर ती भाषा नवं रूप घेऊन बाहेर येते. आणि ही नवी रूपं 16व्या शतकापासून आपल्याला इब्राहिम आदिल शहांनी दाखवून दिलेली आहेत. नंतर 17वं शतक तुकाराम, 16व्या शतकातला 15व्या शतकातला कबीर, 15व्या शतकातली मीराबाई, ही आपली परंपरा आहे. ह्या परंपरेला स्मरून आपल्याला आजचा आशय ह्यामध्ये कुठे आढळतो का हे शोधायचं. नाही तर पर्याय जे आपण शोधतो ते मातीशिवाय येत नाहीत. त्याला माती लागते आणि ती माती आपल्या परंपरेने आपल्याला दिलेली आहे, फक्त आपण ती ओळखायला पाहिजे. म्हणून मी नेहमी असं म्हणते की संगीत हे खूप काही सांगण्याची ताकद असलेलं असं माध्यम आहे. फक्त त्या माध्यमाचा आपण वापर केला पाहिजे. झनन झनन झन मोती खान येतात गाजे झनन झनन झन मोती खान येतात गाजे झनन हा एक तंबोरा एक कामिनी की जे म्हणतो. तो जेव्हा की जे म्हणतो त्यावेळेला त्याला कामिनीचा सौंदर्य हा अर्थ सांगायचा आहे. त्यामुळे तो असं म्हणतो की तुम्ही हातात तंबोरा तर घ्या, वाद्य घ्या, गाणं गा आणि काहीतरी सुंदर करा. कामिनी की जे, ली जे म्हणत नाही तो. त्यामुळे ही त्याची एक मोठी गोष्ट आहे. हे मी दरवेळेला गाताना काहीतरी आणखीन सुचतं की अरे ह्या माणसाला खूपच काहीतरी कळलं आयुष्यात असं लक्षात येतं. तर तसं हे कामिनी की जे, सुंदर करा काहीतरी. ह्याच रागामध्ये ठुमरी वगैरे सहसा असत नाही, पण मी ती थोडीशी बांधायचा प्रयत्न केला. कारण त्याला असं म्हणायचंय की स्वतःचा विचार सगळेच करतात, जीव जीव सबक आहे, पण आपल्याला करायचंय काय त्याचा विचार फार कोणी करत नाही. आपलं ध्येय काय, त्याला साधायचंय काय. पण मग त्या जीव मन शरीर आयुष्य विचार भावना ह्या सगळ्याचा जर तुम्ही तुमच्या ध्येयाच्या दिशेने काही उपयोग केला तर मग त्यासारखं काहीच नाही. होई सती सोयी. तो सती म्हणजे काय, सती म्हणजे सती नाही. आपण ज्या सतीचा लॉर्ड बेंटिंकनी त्याचं हे केलं, उच्चाटन केलं आणि अजून त्या होतात, त्या सती नाहीत. सत वरून आलेला हा शब्द आहे. ते चांगलं आहे त्याचा विचार करा आणि ते चांगलंच होईल असं समजा की तुम्ही जर असं केलं, जीव का जीव पीव कर जाने होई सती सोयी, असा त्याचा अर्थ मला लागतो. शेवटी इंटेलेक्च्युअल्स एक काहीतरी आखून देतात, सांगतात. गाणाऱ्या माणसाला त्या शब्दांच्या खूप मागे जावं लागतं आणि ते मागे जाता जाता तुम्हाला काहीतरी वेगळंच दिसायला लागतं, कळायला लागतं आणि आपणच आपल्याला अधिक चांगलं समजून घ्यायला मदत होते. आणि आपण म्हणजे काय तर आपली अवघी ही संस्कृती, आपण सगळेच जण, असा त्याचा मी अर्थ लावतो. जीव जीव सबक जीव जीव कोई
Bijapur, like other Deccan states, such as the Nizam Shahis and Qutub Shahis, used local troops in large numbers. The new recruits represented a range of local people, predominantly Marathas, but also Lingayats and other fighting groups available after the fall of Vijayanagar. Similarly, Brahmins, especially Deshashta from Maharashtra, and Prabhus, soon completely dominated the middle and lower levels of central bureaucracy. We know that the Afakis, recent immigrants of foreign origin, and the Dakhanis, early immigrants to the Deccan, mostly Muslim, had their own role to play in courtly intrigues. Along with them would have been Habshis or Ethiopian slaves, people of African descent imported for war. Sufis were utilized in the Deccan by the state to exert some form of influence over the public. And so there are several prominent Sufi shrines in the region. Orders such as the Chishti, Shatari and Kadiri were patronized, while over the course of years several others such as Naqshbandi also established their presence in the area. Banda Nawaz Gesu Daraz, who died in 1422, being the most famous of these traditional Sufis, and Muhammad Bhari of Gogi being the most radical. To all this were the Portuguese and the Dutch, both involved in trade, cultural matters, and of course participating in wars in the Deccan even as early as the 15th century. The Deccan had access to the western and eastern coastal ports, and so these kingdoms experienced wealth through the trade of textiles and precious stones. For example, we know that the Kohinoor originates from Golconda. Culture-wise, Bijapur was located between two centers of power, Marathi and Kannada. Not to mention the prominent Sufi shrines, Sufi sites of Shahpur Hillock and Gogi. It had the finest painters, calligraphers, poets, craftsmen, dancers, musicians, traders from far-reaching provinces in Persia and from the south after the collapse of the Vijayanagar Empire. Finally, let us not forget that this happened in the land of Ajanta and Ellora. At court, even the language reflected a composite strand of life. The language was a mixture of the Arabic and Persian, the North Indian Urdu of their past, the Sanskrit of the Brahmins, and the Marathi, Telugu and Kannada of their subjects.
या माणसाला गाण्याचं वेड तर आहेच, म्हणून तर तो बंदिशी बांधतो. तर त्या नवरसाविषयी त्याची एक जी बंदिश आहे ती मी उरिया धनाश्रीत बसवली, झपतालात. नव रस हे